Hello everyone, this is Uriel from urielblogspot.com bringing you my first ever video. This will be hopefully one of many. So anyways, this first post is going to cover the Wave Serpent, what you get with the Wave Serpent, what weapon options you get, what vehicle upgrades you get with it, and how to which ones are best for it, probably what I think is the optimal setup for it. I'm going to go over survivability of the Wave Serpent, how to maximize cover and that kind of thing, and how to effectively deliver troops and that sort of thing, and just basically put it to good use. So you can hopefully get the most out of the Wave Serpent in your games and bring lots of glory to the Eldar craft world. So for this purpose, for the purpose of this video rather, is to speak proper English. And I have this board set up, a 2x2 Realm of Battle board for the example. And it's going to kind of just be our test area. We've got some ruins there, with some guinea pigs of doom, naughty space marines that are just asking to be killed by Eldar. That's what space marines are good for, in case you're wondering. So, for starters, the Wave Serpent, what do you get? Well, you get a front armor 12, side armor 12, rear armor 10 vehicle. It's got 3 hull points. It's got a lot of weapon options and vehicle upgrade options, which I'll go into a little bit. It's a fast skimmer tank transport, which means you can tank shock and transport troops, or models in general. And it's very fast. You can go 12 inches in the movement phase and turbo boost up to 18 inches for a total of 30 inches of movement, which is quite respectable. As far as armor goes, it's only got 3 hull points in armor 12, so it's kind of middle of the road as far as survivability goes, as far as tanks go. But what really puts it over the top as far as survivability is the Jink mechanic, where if you move, you get a 5+ cover save for all skimmers, and Holofield just works to increase that, and proper usage of cover will really help make them go a long way. On top of that, penetrating hits hurt your tanks, and the Serpent field on a 2+ will change a penetrating hit into a glancing hit. So that makes it pretty potent. In general, you're going to be losing your Wave Serpent to just being glanced to death by losing hull points, not necessarily a few melta gun shots here and there unless you just roll that one from the Serpent Shield 2+ save. So the Serpent is very survivable, I've found in all my games, and they usually just last either the whole game or they just glance to death. So with that said, what weapon options do you get with a Wave Serpent? Well, you've got stock with a Shrieking Cannon, but for 5 points more, why not upgrade the turret to something more useful and respectable? You've got a Scatter Laser, Star Cannon, Bright Lance, and Eldar Mist Launcher. All of them are 5 points except for the Eldar Mist Launcher, which is 15, probably because of the longer range, 48 inches versus 36, and the AP3 Strength 8 shot now causes pinning, which is a bonus. However, with all those options, I think that there's no real wrong weapon to put on the Serpent, just whatever your army needs, but I do think there's an optimal build, which I'll go into in a little bit, or actually right now. And that is a Scatter Laser turret for extra 5 points. It really increases the effectiveness of everything else that your tank can put out as far as offense goes, shooting-wise, because not only is it just strength 6, 4 shots at ballistic skill 4, I forgot to mention that it tank's ballistic skill 4 earlier, which is an improvement from the previous version, very good. It has a laser lock rule, the Scatter Laser is, that is, and that allows you to shoot that first and then twin link all your other weapons, which will include the Serpent Shield. So you hit with a Scatter Laser, Serpent Shield is all of a sudden twin-linked, and if you upgrade the underslung Shrieking Cannon, that is twin-linked as well. So I think that is the most optimal build, because it also allows your skimmer to threaten flyers reasonably well. The Serpent Shield, I mentioned also previously, the 2+ penetrating hits goes to glancing hit unless you shoot it as a weapon. In that case, it's a 60-inch range, strength 7, AP dash, ignores cover, pinning weapon, which is huge because it just turns your tank into a mainline battle tank in a sense, with the amount of firepower it can put down. So I did mention that you can get an underslung Shrieking Cannon. I do not put that on my tanks. You can if you find yourself moving 6 inches a turn and only wanting to shoot the turret and the cannon, and the shield, I guess, if you move 6 inches. Me, it doesn't work so well because I end up moving 12 inches each turn usually to get into a good position. And at that point, I'm shooting the turret weapon and the shield itself, so I don't have an opportunity to shoot the underslung. And then also, I'm either hanging back, so I'm not in range of with the cannon, or I'm just it's just better to shoot other things because I'm moving 12 inches at a time, like I said. Always moving your Serpents in a good position is key to properly using them. So, but that's another topic which I'll discuss in a little bit. So, with that said, I'm going to go over now the vehicle upgrades available to the Wave Serpent, and we have a few new ones, a few changes, and an old one debuting rather. I'll go down in order of what I think is most useful to least useful, or actually I'll do the other way around, what I think is least useful to most useful, and get those out of the way. Crystal Tardy Matrix, Spirit Stones, Vectored Engines, as, let's see, what else is there? I'm trying to go off of memory. Star Engines and Ghostwalk Matrix are the vehicles upgrades I believe that are that you can put on the Wave Serpent. And I think that the Crystal Tardy Matrix, starting off with that one, for 25 points you get an extra shot in if you go flat out. A waste on the Wave Serpent because for 25 points you're just making the Serpent too expensive for what you're using it for. And just one extra shot from the weapons that you can put out is just not going to do it for you if you're just busy getting into position. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's a great utility for you. That seems to be made more for the Night Spinner and the Fire Prism or something like that. Maybe Vipers if you want to get cute, I don't know. But it's a useful, good upgrade I guess, but just for a lot of Wave Serpents it just makes them too expensive. The other one that I think is kind of worthless is Star Engines. Star Engines are worthless on anything I think, except for maybe Warwalkers. Basically for 15 points you get to go an additional 6 inches. Why bother? That's kind of the equivalent of just revving your engine at a stop sign or light and looking like a jerk to everyone around you. Nobody cares. That 6 inches isn't going to make or break anything, and if it is, you're doing something wrong with Eldar. The next one is Spirit Stones. It's good for other vehicles that don't have any protection from penetrating hits that would be stuns or shaken. The Wave Serpents have the 2+ Serpent Shield, so most of the time you're going to be preventing the ability to penetrate the vehicle anyway, and if it does come up, you're probably going to be making your, hopefully making your jinx saves or cover saves, and or you've killed everything that can retaliate and shoot at your Wave Serpent. So that's not really that great of an upgrade. You're not going to get that much use out of it, the Spirit Stones. Although they are nice in this edition for other vehicles with the 2+ to ignore shaken and 4+ to ignore stun. The other upgrades I think are worthwhile. The most important one I think and the valuable one is the Hollow Fields. +1 to your cover save is huge. Shame you have to move to get it. However, so you will only get it on your turn 1 if you go first, or turn 2 onward, or whatever. You know what I mean. If once you move you get to use it. And it really does increase the utility of the Wave Serpent survivability. 5-up Jink goes to a 4+, which is a 50% chance to negate incoming damage. And then if you're behind Ruins, it goes to a 3+. Turbo Boost, it goes to a 3+, so it really does make a huge difference. I would put it on the Wave Serpents that are going to be up front and being more aggressive, maybe ones that are carrying Fire Dragons or Dire Avengers are going to want to get out. However, if you have a Wave Serpent just hanging back and it's just going to be like behind a cover, camping an objective, you generally don't need it so much because other Serpents in front should be taking the heat off of it, and it should not be shot that much. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're making your list. The other upgrades, Ghostwalk Matrix and Vectored Engines, are great upgrades. However, they're very situational, and I would only put them on maybe certain vehicles if you have the points, because they're really luxury items. And those kind of Wave Serpents would be ones that are transporting maybe Fire Dragons, D-Scythe Wraithguard, maybe Storm Guardians, something like that. They're going to want to get up close to the enemy. And the reason for that is Ghostwalk Matrix gives your vehicle a move through cover. So, you can just be like, hey, I'm here, I'm going to move into this terrain and not take a test because I automatically pass it, move through cover. And it's great. Let's just say that this was a unit, an enemy unit you needed to get to and destroy. Let's say this was just tons of area terrain out front, which you would potentially immobilize your Wave Serpent on. The moment you enter the terrain, you will have to take a terrain test, so you might just immobilize yourself and not be able to deliver the units inside, and then you might lose the Wave Serpent altogether and the unit inside. Excuse me, which is bad news. But with Ghostwalk Matrix, you can just move up onto the train, not worry about it, and then unload your unit, and then it should be able to destroy whatever you're shooting at, because that's what Eldar do, and Space Marines die. That's what they do. So keep in mind that whenever you're using your Wave Serpent and thinking about Ghostwalk Matrix, it's a good upgrade for that purpose. The other upgrade is Vectored Engines, which allows you to move and then pivot after you shoot. So the great reason why it's great on the Wave Serpent is you can move and unload troops from the rear, expose your rear armor for just a bit, shoot your turret weapon, and then pivot afterwards. And I'll give you an example of what that looks like in terms of gameplay in a little bit. So that's pretty much the vehicle upgrades and the weapon upgrades that are available to Wave Serpent. So let's just say you've got a nasty unit coming at you, they transport blew up or whatnot, or they're just making a run for it. And they're kind of spread out, so you're not going to get that much of the unit with any template weapons. Well, what you could do is move Wave Serpents up, and then once you get in a position, tank shock. You know, you're pretty safe from Death or Glory with the Serpent Shield up. The unit will have to move the shortest distance. And let's say you have another Wave Serpent. You move up, tank shock. The unit moves. Oops, turret came off. You know, the unit moves there, and you know, maybe they even fall back. In which case, that might be a bonus for you if they're Space Marines, if they shall know no field, which just kind of sucks. But anyways, then you move this Wave Serpent up, and then you have your D-Scythe Wraith Guard get out, and then you can see quite easily how you will get probably all of them with each template. So let's say there's sorry, I'm counting in my head, 7 guys there. You get 7 times 5, which is quite a lot of hits, which should wipe that unit out. Another good strategy I have is sometimes the Wraiths, in particular, Necron Wraiths, would give me a hard time. And so I try to do this tactic against them, corral them, and then have the D-Scythe Wraith Guard engage them. And you typically have a Necron Lord with 6 Wraiths, which is 7 models. I usually ignore them until they get close and then do this kind of tactic, in which case the unit should be wiped out with how much damage you put on there, and then if they decide to charge that unit, you get that many more hits, D3 times 5. It's especially good if you can manage to get the number 3 Misfortune power from Divination, which I try to get whenever I'm facing Necrons that have Wraiths, because forcing them to reroll successful saves, especially if you get some 6s on the wounds there, is pretty glorious. So in general, that's pretty much how I use my Wave Serpents, how I put them to good use. Hopefully that this video was helpful and useful, and the cameraman working it was not too bad with the camera or the phone. So let me know if I missed anything, if I could have improved anything, if I made your kids cry, I don't know, whatnot. So thanks for watching, and take care.